it is unsafe. It feels risky. It feels vulnerable. It feels scary to push yourself, even if you don't are not chasing any kind of goal. Like, let's talk about that shift.
You have to give yourself permission to do it, and that was my biggest thing. And the other thing I had to overcome was imposter syndrome, because when I first started, I thought, oh, I'm not good, how can I be getting followers, and because who am I? And I had to get over that, and I am over that now. It took me a while. I hate the business side, I hate the technology side, but I'm finding that I'm having to kind of embrace that. Creativity is the mother of invention. It's probably also the mother of experimentation, because, I know I want to make art. I know I want to be creative. Well, what do I have? And so much like a recipe, I'm just kind of throwing things in there. And I think that because of that, I just knew I wanted to create. And so then there's not that fear of failure. If you would have asked me, like, even 3-4 years ago, would I be in this spot? I would have said no. Who would have known?
Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast. This is your host, Charuka. A big welcome to everyone who's joining us back on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere you hear your podcast. And I am very, very excited to welcome you if you're listening our podcast for the first time. We're a very cool gang of artists, women, creative people. We'll chat every week on everything about life, creativity, being a woman, and more. Today, I'm very excited to introduce a very exciting, fun. Oh my God, I had a great time talking to her guest. Typically, she's breaking a lot of boundaries when it comes to being a woman. We spoke about patriarchy. We spoke about, I think the bigger theme of this episode was experimentation and freedom. So I had Kim Hamburg, who's an artist from the US. She's in her mid 50s, and only 2 years or 3 years back, she traditionally got into the role of being an artist. She defines that she's been a crafter all her life. She was a mom for 25 years, a stay at home mom, a foster mom. And she says she's been a mom for the 25 years with a big M. And today she identifies as a mom, but an artist with a big A. Yeah, that's a transition. But there was truly something exceptional about Kim. And I'm saying this honestly. And I'm sure you will figure this out as you go into this episode. She was fun. She was carefree. And she truly said, and I do agree with her, that a lot of those freedom and not taking herself too seriously and just saying what she has, and experimenting and figuring it out so freely and so confidently, and all of this while having fun, did come with age for her. And I do believe that she had a point. We've spoken about a lot of things, but I think true takeaway for me for this conversation has been that how much of the freedom that we desire is within us, how much women are expected to give to others than to give themselves, and how as women and artists can find that balance, as we multitask, take care of ourselves, our families, our careers, our businesses. How do we find this balance, and how do we fulfill our dreams? And I truly, truly enjoyed this conversation, because speaking to Kim was a good reminder of, you do not have to be a certain way at a certain age, do certain things. You can just be who you want to be and just do the things that you want your way. It takes a lot of freedom and breaking a lot of boundaries, but when you do them, the joy that you experience is amazing. So if this is something you're interested in, and I'm sure you are, make sure that you listen to this full episode. And when you do, before that, make sure you press the bell button on YouTube, and the subscribe button wherever you're listening to this podcast, because that will truly help us create more of these episodes, bring more women, raise more voice. And, I always say this podcast is like a collective female voice, a voice of an artist, of women. And I need your help and your help can make this possible. We can take this to a greater height to reach more people and bring more amazing women. So make sure that you click the subscribe, the follow, the like button. And if you like this episode, make sure you know, just share that love, that joy with Kim, with me, with our other listeners by supporting this episode, sharing this episode. And thank you so much. Let's get into this episode. Bye. I think something that when I read about, I was looking at your work and your journey, and now things that you've also mentioned, something that I feel I really found interesting about you, your work, your journey was two words came to me: freedom and experimentation. I really, really, really liked um, how your experimentation also shows so much of freedom. Like even with the work that you're creating, it's like it shows that you're not afraid to get messy, you're not afraid to fail or succeed or look a certain way, do a certain way, like, and there's so much of freedom in that, right? Do you want to start from there?
Oh yeah, like my outfit today.
Yeah.
No, I can. In fact, my journey is one that I came into this late, and I would never took an art class, completely self-taught, and so I didn't know what the quote rules were, what the art rules were. And my art tools that I started with were just found objects around the house, and I still use them. I use like a spatula to paint with. I use chopsticks. I use just whatever's around. It's true. And if you watch any of my reels on Instagram, you can see like I use drywall tape. I just made one today where I'm using drywall tape. It's
Okay.
paper with little holes in it. So I just use whatever's around the house. And because kind of started because as a mother, I'm at home and
Yeah.
you can't leave because your children are here. And so you just kind of
Yeah.
grab whatever you have. And
What do you
so
have?
yes, and so that's where experimentation comes in because, creativity is the mother of invention. It's probably also the mother of experimentation because, I know I want to make art. I know I want to be creative. Well, what do I have? And so, much like a recipe, I'm just kind of throwing things in there. And I think that because of that, I just knew I wanted to create. And so then there's not that fear of failure because making was my goal, not making to sell, making to please somebody. And my children frequently were making right along with me. And at first, I was the Girl Scout troop leader. I was the PTA mom. We were making Halloween things and things for the holidays. I was the religious school teacher. And so at first it was just more crafty than art. And so I think, coming up through that avenue,
Yeah.
when you're crafting, you don't really care if it's
Yeah.
messy, you don't
Yes, I
care if
like
it's
that.
good, you don't
Yeah.
care what it is. And
You want to cut
I'm
something up? Get that scissor
yes,
in
you
hand.
just do it. And so for
Yeah.
years and years and years and years, that was my art, was
Uh,
just this crafty stuff. And I never thought I was really any better than anybody else. I mean, I got
Yeah.
the glitter glue out, I got the hot glue gun out, you know. And that was my life, and it was very child centric. And I was a foster mother, same thing. And I just loved doing arts and crafts. And so what happened was my children aged.
How big are your children today?
Well, they are in their 20s.
Oh, wow. You look like 16.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm 55. So,
Wow.
and my youngest foster daughter is now 19.
Oh,
So they're
wow.
they're old enough now that they don't need mom as much. And so, about 2.5 years ago, it was during COVID actually.
Okay.
Um, my one of my daughters was home. She was home from school because she came home from school during COVID, because their school had gone online,
Yeah.
from university. And so I was just kind of dabbling around in mixed media, and
Okay.
she said, "Let's put you on Instagram." And she's like, "This is pretty good." So she just kind of threw me on Instagram, and
Okay.
um, I just kind of like every day I would make something, and she put it on Instagram, and I just kind of kept getting better, and I got more followers, and it was just extremely organic.
Oh, you're doing extremely well on Instagram.
Yes, and I didn't,
Better than 16-year-olds.
yes, there wasn't any. follow me for, I
Yeah.
just put myself out there. And so again, I think that the freedom aspect of it was I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have
Yeah.
any, I mean, if I had one follower, fine. If I had two followers, and it shocked me. I had like 10,000 followers the first year, and
Wow.
I was completely flabbergasted. I was like, "What is this?" And so I think there's two things: freedom, number one, just to create, but also freedom because I was now able to spend more time with my art and
Yeah.
do more things with my art because my children were older now. And
Yeah.
like back in the day, I used to create in the kitchen. And
Okay.
when dinner time came, I had to put it all away. So now I'm creating, had to put it away. I got to make dinner, right? Well, now I don't necessarily have to make dinner. It's just
Yes,
my
you should
husband,
ask
and he
for.
can, yes, he can eat frozen food.
No, children can come over and cook you sometimes.
And they can, my children, my both my daughters today went out to dinner for themselves tonight, and I can make collages. So my time has been freed up, and I can make more of a mess. And I don't care anymore whether or not I have a hot meal on the table. Does that make sense?
Yes, but for me, I'm very interested. When did you start making art? Let's talk about that.
I started actually making art, like 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago, yeah, but I've always been a crafter, and even as a kid, I did crafts. I mean, I've always done it, but 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 fine art, like 2 years ago.
Okay. And did you have like any previous job or a so-called job before this, all of this?
Well, I went to school to be a teacher, so I am a former school teacher, but I taught
Okay.
my degrees in biology and
Oh my
early childhood
goodness.
education. Yes, so I'm a former biology middle school teacher, so
Oh
very
wow.
far off that. So
Yeah.
I'm one of these people
Yeah.
that has these talents in many different areas, but
That's
but no,
very
I've
nice.
never I've never taken I've never taken one art class, not in high school, not in
Yeah.
college, never.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Like, experimentation and freedom. Like, I think a lot of times we as, people feel stuck due to where we are or what we've become. Okay, you were a school teacher or you were teaching in a job. Uh, you should keep doing that. Why do you need to change your course? Okay, or like, or taking that extra edge, or like, leaving those fears behind and actually doing something about it. And then I mean, there are so many people who um in their mid 50s, 50s, 60s, like they wouldn't find the courage to start something even if they're passionate about it, like because they don't have the strength, or like, I don't know, everybody would have their own reasons. But no matter where our reasons fall into our place in life and age and everything, we all, like, we have those fears, and it is unsafe, it feels risky, it feels vulnerable, it feels scary to push yourself, even if you don't are not chasing any kind of goal. Like, let's talk about that shift.
Yeah. You have to give yourself permission to do it, and that was my biggest thing. And the other thing I had to overcome was imposter syndrome, because when I first started, I thought, "Oh, I'm not good. I how can I be getting followers? And because who am I?" And I had to get over that, and I am over that now. It took me a while, but yeah, I had to give myself permission, and I went to each of my children and I said, "Is it okay that I'm spending all this time making this art?" And of course they all said, "Yes, make your art, do it." But because that mother guilt is very strong. And but once I realized that I can do it, I'm good, I'm okay spending this amount of time doing it, I feel like I banked my hours early in their childhood. um, I really do. I made
Yeah.
my deposits. I'm now able to,
Yeah.
and they're actually very supportive, and they're very happy for me that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm just very joyous about it. I mean, you can just see I love it. So
Yes.
that's also why
Yes.
I'm so prolific. I don't know if you noticed, but I make art constantly, um,
Really?
and I post every day. Yeah, sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day. I can't help it. I just keep making, and I think that I'm prolific because I have so many ideas, and I
Yeah.
just can't. I mean, like today, I could have made probably 5 reels today, but I didn't because I thought people are going to get so sick of me making these reels. So I think I only just made 2. But I just have so many ideas, so many things I want to do. It's like I feel like I'm catching up, you know? So, yeah.
You feel like you're at that stage that you wanted to do all of these things for so far too long, and you find like, okay, I've got this moment, I want to make the most of it.
Right, right. And I'm not doing it for I'm not doing it for money, I'm not doing it for
Yeah,
prestige. I'm doing it for myself, and I kind of feel like if that comes along, then,
yeah,
that's okay.
great.
And that actually is
Yeah.
my current problem right now is
Mm.
I have been asked to do some things and I really don't know, where or how I'm going to do it. So, I mean, that's a good problem to have, I guess, right?
Yes, absolutely. And those problems, I think, come from every stage of life. Like you don't know how to work things. And then you eventually like it's like you're transitioning into this new shape and form and you learn more about it and you get better at it. Do you have any like what are your inhibitions? What are your fears? Or specifically when you started coming on Instagram, did you have any like what people are going to think? Or am I like did you have any of those things?
Yes, before Instagram, I was not on social media at all. No Facebook, no Twitter, no nothing. And even now, I'm still trepidatious. Like I didn't have my face on Instagram until maybe 6 months ago. I had one of my art pieces was my face, and when I originally came on, I had a fake name. I had a fake
Oh
name and a
wow.
fake face. Yes, I was Susan Bear. That was my name. And because Susan is my middle name, and I just happened to have a picture of a teddy bear, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna be Susan Bear. And so the first year of me being on Instagram, I was Susan Bear, and I did not change my name to Kim Hamburg until after I got like 10,000 followers. So if you followed me before, the first year, I was Susan Bear, and I made that switch, and I thought, I hope people aren't confused. But yeah, so I didn't even use my real name because I was afraid that, well, a couple of reasons. First of all, I am a foster parent, and you do have to protect the anonymity of your foster kids, and some of the parents are not too friendly. And so I waited until the youngest was 18 years old. And that's when I put my face and my name out there because at that point I realized it's okay. They're 18. Because before that, you're in the court system and you're not really supposed to post anything on social media. And I was just trying to be really careful. So that's part of it. But also, social media scared me because I hadn't been out there, and I'm still trepidatious. And I just joined Facebook like 2 weeks ago, and the only reason I did it was because I taught a class on Collage Masters Summit. I don't know if you saw that, but as part of the class, the students we had our own Facebook group on Facebook, our own private group on Facebook. So I had to join Facebook. So I'm giving you the. So I have joined Facebook now. So it has forced me to do things I didn't want to do. I'm learning technology. I'm sitting here with a Mac laptop. I have learned the Mac computer. Who would know that I would have a laptop? I'm learning Photoshop.
Oh wow,
I'm
you
learning
are
to
so
edit my
inspiring.
own photos. I
I
tried so
love
hard not
that.
to learn to do it. I tried so hard, and then it's just I keep getting more and more, which is a good thing, by the way.
Yes.
Magazines are asking for my art, and you have to have it at 300 DPI, and you have to have
Yes.
and there's other projects that I'm doing, and they're asking for my art, and it has to be, and so I realized I better learn how to do this. So um, my one of my daughters, who she's actually in graduate school for museum exhibition and design,
Oh
she's helping
wow.
me. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
she's
so
in
nice of
Philadelphia.
her.
Yeah, she's really good. She also knows like Vectorworks. She knows Photoshop. I mean, she knows all the stuff. So whoever hires her soon will be very fortunate to have her.
Look at you being the mother also.
I know, but it's weird because if you would have asked me like even 3 4 years ago, would I be in this spot? I would have said no. No. I mean, I'm even a influencer now. I have somebody that I'm sponsoring, or they give me
Oh
stuff, free
wow.
stuff, and I make reels for them. Yes, who would have known?
There's this whole new world that has like come your way, and how much unshedding of your own beliefs, how much unshedding of your own beliefs, people around you, um, took took for you to really like grab these opportunities and like
Well, I think I mean, I'm still the same. I think that the thing that has changed most about me is I've stopped caring about. like I used to be just a very uh, helicopter mom, okay, kids, do you have your lunch? Do you have your, socks? And I mean, I'll give you an example. My daughter who is 20, she just had a birthday and she's 26. She just turned 26. This is the one that's in Philadelphia in graduate school.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
prior to this year, every year for kids' birthdays, I did the care package and I would have had a cake delivered and I would have had balloons. I just Venmoed her some cash for her birthday this year. That's all I did. And I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm busy. I've got this podcast. I've got this class. I've got," and I listed all the stuff I'm doing. I said, "Here's some cash." And that is so unusual. So that is how I have changed. I mean, and I would have been the kind that would have, called her and sang her happy birthday, and nope, nope, just oh hey, happy birthday. I sent you some cash. Bye.
What did she
So
say?
it's not. She was actually okay with it. I mean, the thing is, my children, thank goodness, they all understand that this is for me and
Important to you.
important to me, and they see how much joy it brings me, and they see
Yeah.
the success that I'm getting too. I think if I weren't getting so much success, they might think I was a little wacky, but they actually
Yeah.
do see the success that I'm getting, and yeah, they're okay with it.
Would you keep doing this even if it wasn't for the success that you're getting?
I probably wouldn't be doing it as prolific. I wouldn't be doing it as much, but I would still be doing it. Yes. I might not be doing, 3 reels a day. I might just be doing 1, but yeah, I would still do it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, and what do you love the most about, getting into this new phase of life now?
Well, it's I don't know, it's just like a big creative relief. I don't know. It's like that I was a stay-at-home mom for I don't know, 25 years. I don't know, between
Oh,
kids and foster kids and all this kind of stuff, a long time. And I found that very fulfilling. I really enjoyed it,
yeah,
obviously. I was also a volunteer at their schools. I volunteered everywhere. Um, and that was also fulfilling. But the creative side of me, you can't be too creative being a mom. I mean, how many ways can you cut up a sandwich, or stick a carrot in a lunchbox? Um, but it was funny because even during all that time, I had art ideas in my head, and I remember that my the daughter that's in Philadelphia, that's the museum major, she did take some art classes, and every time an art assignment would come up for her, I would
you'd be
say, "What's
excited.
your art assignment?" And I would give her just rattle off like 50 ideas for her to do, and she'd say, "Stop, stop, don't stop giving me ideas." I would get really excited at all of her, and I would like want to live vicariously through her art assignments. Um, so I had ideas in the back of my mind, and I kind of knew that that would be what I would be doing after I had some free time. I
Yeah,
just didn't exactly know what it was going to be. I didn't know how it was going to work. Um, and so I kind of knew that's what I was going to do, but I didn't ever think it was going to be this big. I didn't ever think that I had talent. I just thought it was be something I would just do because
it brought you joy. Yeah,
yeah. But I am finding too, though, it's very therapeutic. It's
yeah,
it's like you almost
absolutely.
have therapy with yourself every single day. Because I also have found that I'm an intuitive artist, and so I work intuitively. I don't have a sketchbook or anything. I just kind of sit down, and whatever I'm thinking or feeling just kind of comes out on the page. And so a lot of my work is about motherhood, domestic events, women, all those kinds of things. And it's basically it's a very authentic retelling of who I am, and if you look at my art, I think that's one reason why people are drawn to it is because you can tell that it's authentic and that it's not just, me finding a page and slapping it on. I mean, it's very intentional, and
Yeah,
and if you see my work over time, there's there's themes that run through my work. So, and that in that way, it's very therapeutic for me because I kind of work out my issues through the art.
isn't that a great way?
Yeah, yeah, it's really good.
Okay, tell me something. What was your take? I'm sure there must be a moment where you think like, okay, you were having fun. You started taking a leap. You started experimenting. What when you started seeing like people started showing interest in your work is very popular on social media. You have great engagement, like, you make these reels for people, and how people engage with you.
And they buy my work.
I'm
That's the other thing that shocked me.
Yes.
They buy it. Yes.
Yes, let's talk about both of these. First, when you started seeing people started interacting with you and your work, how was that? Like, you feeling like, okay, now, and I think this is one of the things we started feeling like there's this rush when you're making something, or we're like, oh my God, yes, I want to make this. And like, it's all about you. Then there is this that you make this work and then you have to put it out there. So you're like, okay, maybe someone will see, someone. But then suddenly, if you feel like, oh my God, everybody's got their eyes on here, like here, what was that moment for you? And then we'll talk about someone buying your work for the first time.
Well, it's interesting because one of the very I had people that would reach out to me and say, "I really like that," and I would say, "Oh, I'm going to send it to you." So the first probably 25 or 40 pieces, I just gave them away
Wow.
for free. True story. I just mailed
Yeah.
it to them, and a lot of it was because my own.
Y-
I was so excited about it, and I didn't put much weight on it. And again, I wasn't a professional artist, and
Yeah.
I was just like, yay, I was so excited for somebody to want my work. Here you go. Here it is. And I remember, and I won't say who it was because they're still in Instagram, but like somebody was asking, got like 10 or 15 of my original early pieces, I just mailed them out, mailed them out. And so there was a man from Switzerland that contacted me, and he wanted like 4 or 5 of my pieces, and that's when I decided to charge because I was like, okay, I feel like he's wanting a collection, so I didn't charge much, but so that's when I started to charge, and then I was like, okay, well, how much do I charge? And I'm still about
Figuring it
how much
out.
do I charge? Yeah, and I finally have it figured out because what I do is I just keep raising my prices. So I
Yes,
started
that's
out
all.
here, and then I just keep raising, and I just keep seeing, okay, will they still buy it at that? Okay, will they still buy it at that? And so that's how I do. And people ask me, how do you price it? And I'm like, well, it's what they'll pay for. So you know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of
Yeah.
keep raising until, and then if I start to see that, oh, people aren't buying, then I kind of bring it back down a bit. But
You've got it figured it out.
yes, I've got it figured out. But, it was strange. So like I said, I just gave away, and even now, when somebody orders a collage from me, I always throw an extra one in, like a freebie. I always just throw an extra one in because I have like 900
Oh, wow.
collages. So I always just it's like, here's an extra one." So, yes, so I do that frequently as well.
So you're not afraid.
No, I'm not afraid, and they're not precious to me. I mean, I hate to say
Yeah.
that, but my it's I they're joyous to me. I love making them. I want other people to experience that as well. It's not like I've spent hours and hours. I mean, I do spend a time making them, but it's not. I just love it, and I want somebody else to love it as well. And that my joy is giving it to somebody else and having their joy as well. So I know
Yeah.
that sounds corny. I mean, I know that does,
No,
but
absolutely not.
that really is the truth.
No. But isn't that why we create?
Yes, that is why we create. And I will say, I mean, I am privileged in that my husband has a job, and so I don't necessarily have to, pay the mortgage or whatever. So I am fortunate in that way. So I do want to say
Yes.
that
Yes.
if I had to pay the rent, then yes, I would
Then you
have
would
to
have
be
thought
selling these.
otherwise.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I do want to put that clarification out there.
No, that's a good point. That's a good, and I think we all have, like, there will always be shortcomings and pros and cons of our situations. Um, some certain things and situations will always bring you some advantages and some disadvantages. And I want to ask you about that. You being incoming, like, do you think you would have, let's say hypothetically, if you were approaching where you are today in the early year of your life, uh, do you think you would have approached things similarly that you are approaching them today?
Um, Probably not. I probably would have taken myself more seriously, I think, because I probably would have been more critical of myself. Because it is true, as I have aged, I have become less critical of myself, and I think that's just. I don't know how old you are, but I know that in my 30s especially, I was much more oh, what do people think of me, and do they care? And now I'm wearing hats and sparkle glasses, and I don't really care. Yeah, so I would have been more critical of myself, and I probably would have been like, what do people think of this, and what do they think of that? But yeah, so definitely that. But I do think I would have still done art with great abandon. because I did crafts and things with great abandon, and I wasn't afraid to make a mess, and I wasn't afraid to experiment. But I probably would have been more critical, and I probably would have been a
Yeah.
little bit harder on myself. But I'm not hard on
Yes.
myself anymore. It's very liberating.
So this is what you think is the advantage, the plus of being where you are right now. What let's I just want to learn more about like what you think you have on your strength, and I think you truly have that. I'm in my 30, I'm just getting there, just started. So, and I think, I mean, I still feel like um, I need to feel free myself a lot more than I mean, even as an artist, I feel like, and I feel like I'm a very earthy and a very free person, but I also feel like um, as you age, you start to think more about who you are. Then you think about what people around you are and what they expect out of you. And I think truly, as we age, this is one of the biggest strengths that we gain. What do you think has been the hard part of starting now?
Well, technology, and it really is because had I started this when I was, in my 20s, it would have been so quick for me to pick up. And because I see like my children just quick, 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 it's difficult for me to pick it up now, and it is a
Yes.
true difference in your brain. And I hate to admit it,
Yes.
but your brain does become slower and mushy when it becomes 50. And even had I been 40, it probably would have been easier. But
Yeah.
it's not that I can't do it, and I am doing it.
Yeah.
It's just
You
slower,
are doing
and
great.
I'm trying. But learning those kind of new things. The creativity part of it's not hard. It's that
Yeah.
technology side. And the other thing that's harder for me is that business side. And
Yeah.
I hate the business side. I hate the technology side. But um, I'm finding that I'm having to kind of embrace that, and
Yeah.
you know, I have to go with it. But yeah, those two things are hard for me. And also, I just don't want to do it. It's like housework. I just don't want to do it. So it's like, don't want to do it. Just let me be creative and I'll be fine.
Have the girls do.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you try that. Actually, Zelda's the only one home, so she would have to do it all. The others are off at school.
No, that's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, and like with my husband, I mean, obviously we're still married. Um, but I feel with him, like one of the things, we kind of had this kind of a head to head, which was um, he somewhat lost his wife to art too because I mean I'm still here,
Oh,
but he's not getting the home cooked meal every night now. He's not getting
yes.
um, everything, and I
Yes.
had to explain. I had to kind of explain to him too. Like I've put in my time. You can kind of because I was a stay at home wife, stay at home mom, and so that also has changed. So it took him a little bit to get over that. You know.
You know what? That's so interesting because for quite a few podcasts on record, off record, this is one of the things that has been coming up constantly, which is a lot of people, women specifically, because of course we have women guests, have this thing that they feel their partners feel that they're too consumed and involved in their art. People who have their young children or who have partners who feel like they're too committed, like even when they're present, they're a lot of times not present. I have a partner who's as passionate as I am, and I complain to him a lot more that he's not present. But in the past few years, I've seen the same change. And he has the same, even though he's incredibly busy and like, we try to make time together, but he also feels I'm not as present or I'm so much invested in my work. And that's strange is because, for years, men have always been invested in their work. Men have always been there, like, in their office, in their, and the moment, and I feel like this guilt from women, even if like you're crossing check, okay, I'm going to the studio. Should I make sure I'm catching on the kids? Or like, I know like that even I'm not married yet. And like I have my own family. And there's so many things like my brother wouldn't bother about, but I will make sure like no matter how important things I have, I will make sure, okay, these things need to be done. So I have to leave work and I have to go and make sure. So I'm basically taking care of the house, of my own house, my business, my practice, everything else. And in spite of that, I feel guilty. Oh, am I getting too much into it? Am I not giving time?
Mhm. And it's
What
that
do you
guilt
think?
that you have to let go of because,
Yeah.
and I think with regard to men, I mean, the patriarchy has put
Yeah.
us in that situation where we automatically feel all that guilt. And I guarantee you, at least with my husband, there's no guilt on his part. I mean, he's not feeling any
Yes,
guilt that
absolutely. I
he's not feeling any
agree.
of it. And I can tell you because I've asked him. I've said, "Hey, do you feel
Yes.
guilty that, maybe Allison didn't get the best birthday this year, that I just Venmoed the money?" And he's like, "No."
Yes.
He feels no guilt, and here I am, even though I was okay with doing it, I still felt slightly guilty about it. I'm still thinking, but okay. And so, but he's not feeling any guilt about it, and he's still doing his own thing. He's still working as much as he would work. He's just thinking, "Where's my hot meal?"
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
saying, "You can, it's in the
No.
freezer." But but yeah, so I had to let go of
Oh
that
God.
too. I had to let go of it's okay.
And I'm sure that must not have been easy.
It was not easy. No.
For specifically, you've been like this mother, this hands-on mother, wife who's been for 25 years, who's giving these meals, making on top of the things, and and being so available. I think I lost my mom in the past. In the past 2 years, like 2 years ago, I lost my mom, and I never realized, like, I never realized how much hold she had on things, like passively also, like just not that way, like, and like how much women, like I think the ability for women to multitask, even like I and my partner speak about it, like I'm like, you do this, even I work, like, you're two doing this is I also do this, like, and he's like, you know what, let me just admit this, that you multitask a lot better than I can do. And I'm like, yes, I know that, but no, we as women, we were raised to do like that, like, I mean, like, even when, like, it's as small as, like, when I go out, or like so many of us, like, I stay in India. So if I go out, even if I'm there, I'm thinking about how do I go back? Or if I'm taking a drink, how many people are around me, or I have to be cautious of my surroundings. Like, I am constantly, like, as women, we're constantly like trying to do so many things, and like, yeah, and being trained, and like, just the expectations out of women is so much that we have to, like, we adapt to it.
Well, it's just like, because I was talking to my daughters about this. Um, as women, we are quite aware of, like, if it's in the evening at night and it's a dark parking lot, we're aware
Yes,
that we have to be
yes,
careful and look around.
yes,
Whereas
yes.
my husband, he doesn't think anything about it,
No?
and he just goes and walks. And women are very aware of their surroundings and very aware of what time it is, and is it lighted, and men don't have to think about that. And I've had these conversations
Yes.
with my husband, and he'll have these conversations with my daughters, and they're very quick to tell him, "Dad, you're a man. You don't have to think about
Yeah,
these things. We're women. We think about
yeah,
these things." And it's been very eye opening for him too. Now that his children are, or now that his daughters are
yeah.
adults, and they're able to say to him
Express.
from a
Yeah,
female perspective,
yeah,
things that
yeah,
he didn't hear before.
yeah,
So yeah, and I think that men, and again, like even in the art world, if you think about this, men have no trouble going to an art exhibition or an art opening that maybe they have
yeah,
to fly to and be away for a week. I could never have done that when I had kids, for
yeah,
example.
yeah,
And even now, if my husband, he's an attorney, and he will frequently have to go to law. He has to go to a trial, or he has to go to a convention or something. He doesn't even quote. He doesn't even ask me. He just says, "I'm going to be
I
gone
have
from
to
here to
go.
here to here. Bye." And it's just he goes. If I had to do something like that, I would have to arrange the dog sitter, the
Yes.
this and that, and there would be so much arranging that I would have to do for me to leave, and it would be such a headache.
One thing I always notice, while a woman leaving a house and a man leaving a house, like, not stereotypically, like, but in most of the cases, like, I still see when I leave the house, or my mom used to leave the house, like, I'll make sure, okay, my dogs have the food, or are the medicines there, is the food ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Or, and I will keep saying, okay, I will come back, make sure you do this by the time I'm back. And men, they just pick up the car keys, go downstairs, and they're done.
Yeah. Yep. And I know we're being stereotypical, and I'm sure there are,
Yeah,
quote,
there
"some
are.
men
Of
aren't that
course.
way,"
Yes.
but, also, I also keep a running list in my head of what kind of food we need, like, are we out of bread? Are we out of
Yes.
milk? Are we out of eggs?
Yes.
And I know that when I'm out, I gotta stop by and pick those up, and does everybody have their medication, and does everybody have clean underwear for the week? And, you women keep all those things in their
Yeah.
head, and so and even while I'm doing my art and making my collage, I'm on the phone and I'm, organizing doctor appointments and, and I'm thinking of all these things. So, and my husband doesn't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah,
And,
none of that.
um, and I do think that, I think for mothers, going back into the art world though, what do they do if they're, because I was thinking I breastfed my children for 2 years each. And what do nursing mothers do that have an art show or that have to travel? Or, I mean, they have to take their baby with them. I mean, I guess they could pump, but pumping is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. For me, it was terrible. I think for some women, it's probably fine. But for me, I just didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it. Um, but I don't know. It's just that I feel like the art world could be more
And how inclusive.
receptive to.
How many children would you spot in an art show opening?
Right, right. And you think about it. You
Yelling.
think about the yes, and like they're so kind of uppity with champagne and everything's
Yes.
yeah. But
Yes.
Uh, anyway, that's my 2 cents with that. But I think about,
I love that.
now I could go because my children are adults. I'd still have to arrange everything. It would still take time and still have
Yeah.
to make sure my husband had meals in the freezer. But before, it would have been, I'd have to move a mountain in order for me to go.
Yeah.
So
Do you enjoy multitasking? Do you enjoy
I
this
love
part
it.
of life?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I have that kind of brain that's my brain, and probably you can tell by the way I speak, I'm a very fast processor.
Yes.
I process
Yes.
very quickly and I process multiple things at one time. And
Yeah.
it's a talent. I'm just very good at it. So I like doing it.
Over 25 years of practice
Yeah. But I'm a very creative problem solver too. So not just in art, but like if you have a problem,
in
like
real
my
life.
drawer is stuck, how can I fix it? I'm your guy. I'm your guy. I fix things around the house. Yeah. So I just do all that kind of stuff.
And I think that's something I've also felt like differently when I speak to people around me, men around me, is like, and I keep telling that even though it's exhausting, like I feel like my mind is not in one place a lot of time, but also my mind is in one place at a lot of times. Like I do feel that hustle, but I also feel that I still have that stability. Like I'm a very stable person, like I'm there. And um but I want to do these things. Like I don't cook. We have someone who cooks for us and who helps with us. In India, the culture of help. So if you're in India, if there's someone working, so the husband doesn't get to eat. So this is the layer. So your husband gets to eat frozen food. In India, if there's someone who's working, because we can afford, like because of our population, we have a lot of house help and employment generation that we help in the economy. We have a lot of people who help us, make this life possible.
Wow. No, I would love that. I've often said I used to tease myself way back. I said I need a wife. I used to tease myself. Say, where's my wife?
I have heard husbands who have people who cook for them, like working wives or women who are working, demand that they want um, not only hot food, they're already getting hot food. They want food only cooked by their wives. So it goes as far as that. It's not the frozen food anymore. So like I mean it's so deeply like the challenges for a woman to break that barrier, and to, even though like how much like I said, I love to multitask. I love telling what to cook, what to do in the house, things to do, take my dog, like take my dogs to the vet, or do some laundry run, or like things like that, which is very, it makes me feel like a person. I just feel like I don't want to be so consumed with my own self, my own work, that I forget what life is. I love sitting under the sun. I love all those little things that make me feel alive. But I don't see that so often with they don't feel like a chore to me on every day. Yeah, of course, when it gets too much.
That's good though.
But
Yeah, that's good.
but not with men. I feel I've seen so many men with who will not feel that way, who feel like, and that's how differently sometimes we work. And I think that's why also women multitask.
I think that's the patriarchy, though, too. I think that's how men were raised. I think that's how, uh, at least in the United States, I mean, I think men were taught that, women did the housework, women took care of the
Yeah,
kids, women were teachers and nurses and secretaries and wives, and somehow, um, you know, everything was put on the back burner for women. You didn't have your career necessarily, and if you did have a career, you still did all the housework.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just did it when you got home from work, and I think that the patriarchy is very strong, and it's
yeah.
kind of enmeshed in our whole society. And so, I will say, for me, I'm very proud of my daughters. All of them have. Um,
Love them.
they have broken the patriarchy, and all of them are very aware that they do not have to have men control their lives. So I'm very happy
I
about that.
love
That is one
that.
thing I have
I
been
love that.
quite successful about. I've taught them all well.
And you're doing that yourself. I think what I love about you, and I'm so grateful that we had this chat, because it, like, giving yourself experimentation, like, I think the freedom that you've given yourself, there is nobody who can give you that freedom. It is you who gives you that slip. It is who gives you that permit. Like, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Create what you want to create. Take that leap. Make that shift. Like, but sometimes we're always looking, we forget that we have the power rather than someone else has the power. And I'm sure when your daughters are looking at you, you're doing this at 50, 55, turning a new chapter, now living for yourselves. They will see that women do not have to, like, the growing older does not mean that you put your dreams in the back burner. Growing older does not mean you cannot learn, you cannot grow. Like, it's just an age that you can still do anything and everything that you want to do. And I'm sure they're learning great amount from that.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that's one thing that they, have, come to realize with me, is that it's a new chapter, and I'm embracing it, and, they're really excited for me. I mean, I at
Mhm.
first, I kind of thought that they would not enjoy that I've kind of broken out of the traditional mom role, and I was very much the mom. I was mom with a capital M. I mean, and I'm now mom with a small m, you know, but, they're actually very happy with it.
You are an artist with a big A.
I'm an artist with a big
You're,
A and mom with a small m now.
yes, you're an artist mom.
Yes, and I feel like it's a good fit for me now too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I hope to be like Grandma Moses. I hope to be 80
Yeah.
or 90, still doing my art, and
Yes. And leaving like lots of paintings.
yes, gifts for everybody. But I do want to say, though, I think that, for me, like I said, I have been fortunate enough, though, that, money has not been the main
Yeah.
motivator or priority, and I think that, had it been, it would have looked a little
It
different.
would
I
have been
mean,
different.
I it would have been a little different. I mean, I would have had to focus more on selling, and because I do know there are
Yeah.
some artists that is their main goal, is selling,
Yes.
and I think that when you have that as your goal, it does kind of stifle you a bit, and,
Yeah. You have a clock running over your head.
yes, you do, and I think that, because I do have some friends who, they have to that's their living, they have to do that, and so, I think so I say all of my stuff with a little asterisk that says, if money isn't
Conditions apply.
your main. Yeah, and I will say this too, I mean, I could be doing more to sell my work, I choose not to,
Yeah.
but, because that to me is not the fun
A
side of doing
priority.
my art.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am gonna have to do more of it. I'm gonna hire an assistant, by the way, so that's
Yes.
coming up.
That's a great
So
move.
somebody's gonna have to
That's
help
great.
me. Yeah. So
Yes.
instead of cooking for my husband, I'm gonna hire myself an
I,
assistant. So,
yes. Oh my goodness. This is so nice. I had so much fun talking to you. This was wonderful.
well,
And I'm so
yes.
grateful you stayed this late, and for all the energy that you've brought here.
Well, thank you, and I'm very happy with your, endeavor with all you're doing with your magazine and your online presence and all of that. I think that's great for women, and it seems like you have a nice international, audience, and you're, expanding beyond just, India and Asia and Europe. So that's really good.
We're one big community. You have to let us know where people who are listening to this, where can they find you? Your Instagram, any upcoming project where people can, connect with you. Just take the floor.
Okay, so I am on Instagram at glue paper scissors, and then there's an underscore, so it's glue paper scissors underscore. You can also, I think, find me at Kim Hamburg if you just type that in to Google. I'm also on Facebook, as I don't know if I'm Kim Hamburg or Kimberly Hamburg. I don't really know. To be quite honest, I'm one of those
Send me
two.
the
I
link.
think you can find
I
me.
will add it in the
Kim
show
Hamburg or
notes.
Kimberly. Yes, and then my website is kimhamburg.com. So I try to make it easy. Just look for my name. And as of right now, I don't have really anything coming up. I'm going to be in a few magazines, but I can't really announce that yet. But so just kind of look for me on the horizon.
So when you do, let us know. We'll shout for you.
I will. I will. Well, thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
Same here. And I hope you have a good night.
Okay. Have a
Bye.
good day.